Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for such a refreshing opening, Darby. Welcome, everyone. I love that our audience is always so on time. I love you for joining this rapidly, everyone. And hi, Darby. Welcome to my live episode, fourth episode on the page with me. It's lovely to have you here.
Lovely to be here.
Yeah. So just quickly, I know it's like I always do this, but to explain, Beyond the Page with Imi is my paid subscriber initiative where I'll be having a co-host from one of my paid subscribers each week. And it's a pleasure to have Darby. He's one of my oldest and most closest friends on here. So how are you today, Darbs?
Great. Really good. Really good to see you. I'm happier just seeing your face and all your
Oh,
fans out there. See some people I know. Hey,
your
guys.
friends, probably. Hey, everyone, yeah. Are you from? I'm not from Istanbul, but I've been living in Istanbul for the past 8 years before I moved to London. So before we start, I just want to tell the story of how me and Darby went to our viewers. So me and Darbs met at the very beginning of this journey when I published a piece called "Make Your Dreams Come True." So some of you may know, some of you may not. I study psychology in my bachelor's and did a clinical psychology master. So have worked as a mental health coach, but I've also received a lot of trainings. So I was for that piece, from the people who commented to it, I was selecting people to make their dream come true. And Darby was one of them. And he was the first person who I connected. And I am sad to say he was the only person who I got to connect through there because he believed in me and I became his Tinkerbell. But later we started to dream together instead of yeah.
It was around
So,
Headlines of Hope, I think.
mhm,
That's what I pitched you. It was my dream was for
yeah,
a world that kind of puts fear in the back seat since, it's already something that is too front of mind, and I just shared with you the idea of giving people hope, some good news, because there's so much
yeah,
of it in the world that's hidden, and you were all about it. You believed in me. You were
yes.
one of my first believers on Substack.
I am so honored to have that status. And also Headlines of Hope gave so much excitement to me the moment you mentioned. But if you want to explain to our audience just slightly a bit what it is.
Yeah, so I went through a really dark phase in my life many years ago. It almost cost me my family and my marriage and everything. Just politics and fear and loathing and war and all that stuff. And um, I needed to do something drastic, or else I was going to spiral. So I just right around 2020, I just happened to stumble upon this network called the Good News Network, and they're an online news publication that I found, and I just devoured it, and decided in that moment that I was just going to turn the TV off, shut everything off for however long I needed, and just consume these stories, just tech, medical, energy stories that are saving tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of lives that we don't get on the news, because fear
Mhm.
sells. It's behavioral science. That's what gets the advertising dollars. So it's all they give us. But there's all these beautiful people, just ordinary people with extraordinary ideas, doing these amazing things that don't see the light of day. And so that became my mission in life, is to spread that, and get people, bring awareness, get people to support these ideas. Just find one or two causes that vibe with you, and get behind it and lay your money down and support it, or just share these ideas if you're struggling. And for the next 5 years, I curated these stories just every day in my feed. I just pick out the ones that spoke to me, and I didn't know it was going to turn into Headlines of Hope. It's what I needed to do to preserve my sanity. And at the end of
Mhm.
those 5 years, I found Substack, and started publishing things, and I had this just vault of goodness that I wanted to share, and I just put it all together, and I put some of my favorite Far Side cartoons sprinkled in,
Oh,
paired with certain stories, and just wrote silly little jokes and commentary about uh, life, the universe, and everything. And then it just exploded. It's gone viral. It's got me my most subs. It's still every time somebody restacks it, it has a life of its
the
own now.
feeling of life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really owe, like, my entire Substack career to Finding Good News Network, and they're just a really great organization. They're not left or right. They're just they spread everything from
Mm.
private to public and university and just everything in between. They don't have a bias, or if they do, they don't show it. They just like, this is what the world needs to get behind, and so that's what I love about it. And and it's also just brought my family and friends closer. Like, I've stopped fighting with people. And I'm like, okay, like, yeah, all that stuff exists. We know it exists and it's happening every day. And, but here are these things that we can all rally around and get behind and support. We can actually do something good. Yeah. It's like, don't argue and fight if you're not going to take a stance and do something about it. So, yeah, that's how my,
It is that is so beautiful though, both with the organization Good News and what you just said. It just got me wonder, like, what is it with the bad news that people love to talk and spread, and what is like, why are good news so like remain so much of an underdog? Do you think, in just general in the world? It's just
yeah, I
sparked my
touched upon it a
curiosity.
little bit. It's just evolution. We grew up. It's like, worrying about
Hi, Jake.
the tiger in the bush was much more important than getting our next meal. It's like, we didn't want to be the next
True.
meal. That was, and so that's just like deep into our subconscious and unconscious. Actually, we're thinking about it constantly, and we just haven't evolved out of that. And so the behavioral scientists, they're like, ooh, how can we make money on this? And of course,
Yeah, that is true.
so
Yeah,
so
I
really that's
think
about. And good news is an underdog because it just doesn't sell. And
that is
there's
true.
so much beauty in the world that people don't. I share these stories, and they're like, it flips people's script. They're like, I had no idea this stuff is happening, and I put 5 years worth of that into one document, and it's a living, breathing document. I keep adding to it. And I need to do another edition. I'm way behind. I've got like 2 years worth of
Uh,
stories that I need to
is there
curate.
a threesome?
2 years. I've got 2 years. So my next edition is going to be like a whopper. Y'all are in for some
Okay.
treat.
I also kind of think like the fact that the bad news has a domination over the world is kind of related with fear, because I think fear controls humans, and through like spreading that fear, I think like the structure that is entire society and the world is built is enabling them to control us through making us scared. If that's just my thing. So like that makes me think that maybe bad news are spread so much so that we would feel more dependent towards the authorities for safety or protection, and that just allows us to be more controllable, more grouped.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've got these saviors that swoop in and protect us from the fear and war that they create. And so, yeah, the more that we fear, the more we rely on them. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. And I love like the fear that they create. I definitely agree on that part too.
Yeah.
But
Um.
I remember, yeah, you continue.
No,
Sorry,
go
I am just like an excited person. I tend to interrupt people a lot. It's a bit of like a Turkish thing. We jump into conversations, but I'm just generally an excited person. Please
ladies,
tell me you
ladies
were going to
first.
say. I was just gonna ask a question. I was just gonna say, I remember, maybe not even a question. I was gonna say, I remember the first time I read headlines of Pops. It's not just silly jokes that he has in there with the good news, folks. Darby seriously has one of the best sense of humors I've ever seen. I don't remember reading a piece from you, but I didn't laugh out loud.
That's the goal. That is the goal. Some people use, humor, um, to hide behind, emotions or whatever they're feeling. But I use humor to smuggle my sincerity past your defenses. I say, it's a way to bond. It's a way to just, capture your attention right up front and keep you. So I try and keep the jokes flowing.
I think so. And it's true psychologically, humor itself is an avoidance coping strategy. But besides that, I think there's an element of like balance and everything. If you overconsumption just turns everything to something toxic. So I think, yeah, depends on how we approach it. And I love your approach personally.
Um, yeah, I it's taken a long time to get to where I'm at. You know, you ride on the shoulders of giants, and there's a lot of people out there. I see Hawthorne riding on his shoulders,
Yeah.
riding on your shoulders, and Nicole and Laura B, and all kinds of friends on here have helped me hone my craft. And so I just, want to thank the community for making me what I am.
Aw, but you owe the biggest thank you to yourself. So, like, when you look back, because it's like it hasn't been long and you became a bestseller, how do you view the progress? And, like, when you look at the place where you started it, how does it seem to you where you are now?
Yeah, it was slow going at first, but really, I think the thing that got me going faster than all the little tips and tricks that you read about is just making friends on Substack. Reading people's
Yeah,
work,
it is.
sincere comments, and just making little alliances. So it's like Survivor. We make these little groups.
Survivor.
We support each other.
Yeah.
Hawthorne started Mayhem. It was like a group of 100 of us with trauma and stuff in our and we all commiserated and talked about healing and lifted each other up because it's hard to be vulnerable sometimes. Like on Facebook, I would write this piece and I would just get crickets. I'd pour my soul, or maybe it was political or something, and just nothing. It's like, but on Substack, it rewards you. The algorithm rewards you for being open and sharing yourself
That
and
is true.
your story. It's just a beautiful thing. Mayhem was the name of our group, and people thought it
That
was
was
like,
a crazy era, taking madness.
yeah, it's died down a little bit. People thought we were some crazy cult. Stupid, but we were just like a bunch of traumatized people that are coping uh, with
And trying to help
who
each other
needed
out
cope.
through
Yeah,
sport.
yeah, that was one big thing. Another tip was just kind of figuring out the algorithm. Hawthorne and many others would often write about how to trick the algorithm, and I suggest everybody learn how that works. So the day that I got noticed by a giant whale was the first day that I posted 10 notes. And guys, I don't ever post that. I'm like maybe once a day, maybe two
Like you
average.
it's like you
But
met.
but but the one day that I posted 10 notes, I was just on a roll. I think I took some Adderall or something, and I was just like nonstop. Was the day that this whale noticed me, and he actually validated, like, algorithms kind of like Substack's cumulative with the algorithm. It's like if any one post doesn't do well, that doesn't so much matter in a day. But if you have 10 posts that have 10 likes, that's 100 likes. And the algorithm looks at it cumulatively. And if you get
Interesting.
above a certain threshold, whatever it is, I don't know, they'll start pumping you in front of bigger audiences. And that one day was when one of my videos of my dog fetching beer from the fridge, yes,
Ah,
oh my
that's the first to go
it
viral
was my
though.
COVID project. It was my COVID project. My wife's like, you gotta do something with you're just lying around here being a big pile of monkey dump, like, gotta have a project. So I taught my dog fetch
So
beer
you
from the
taught your
fridge.
dog how
Took
to
months,
open the
like
fridge.
rigorous, like, weeks, several weeks, lots and lots of bacon and peanut butter.
I think we all can relate during COVID that with that.
It was a major stress relief. Once we finally landed the joke and the beer was coming, I was just like, "Hey, Piper, go get us some drinks."
Accomplish sense of achievement. I think
The
that's a good
kids
way to
started
like
putting the kids started putting juice boxes in my six-pack compartments, just so that Piper could deliver them some drinks too. But that's the video that I showed, and that's the video that this guy saw, the day that I posted 10 notes, and it got onto his radar, and he actually validated that that's true. He understands the algorithm, and it's cumulative. So, anyways,
sorry, there is someone in
he
our
kinda
house.
took me under his wing and shepherded me and showed me the ropes and things. So really, those alliances are really valuable.
I think so. I remember how I made my like small kind of a breakthrough. At the time, I only had it was like I wasn't even a month old in Substack, soon to be a 1 year old Substacker. But there was this person who was quite popular at the time. I was just this person who would drop her post under every note that said, "If you're a newbie on Substack, please drop your posts here. Don't underestimate the power of those notes." And I just dropped under someone who was big at the time, and they liked my writing and introduced me to their entire community through their subscribers chat. And all those connections, actually, that is true. It's like a networking space as like a big time as well.
Absolutely.
There's someone in our chat that is calling you Daddy Jones, Darby. That's just I found that funny.
I've never gotten that. That's actually a new one. I've had every nickname under the sun, but not Daddy Darby Jones. What was it? Daddy Jones?
Daddy Jones. Daddy Jones. It's interesting though. It's like actually it should be one of the ones that people come up with first.
That's fair. It's like Darby Jones, Daddy Jones. All right, new one to add to the list of I've got a million. Scooby. Uh,
You kind of have that Scooby vibe though. I don't know like what to do that, but you kind of have that.
yeah, yeah. I've got a name that just the first one was Barbie, so that was traumatizing in elementary school. I called Barbie doll. Thankfully, I've got some better
Oh,
ones over the years. That was my
why did
trauma.
they call you
That's
dog?
why I got mayhem because I was called Barbie doll.
No, but why did they call you Barbie doll?
Darby, 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 Barbie.
Barbie doll. Oh,
All
sorry,
right.
I thought it was Barbie doll. My imagination went too far. And there's
I
someone
got
else
all the
who's
girls. I got all the chicks. We played Barbies. I was Ken. They were Barbie. It really worked out actually. So I
I
got
think
out.
the most like I feel like I have this idea where Ken's has should be tall and you are tall. I don't know how you looked like in your youth. But former Ken is with us today. And also there is someone else who's asking Darby, where did you find my Darby Jones? I think they might thought that it's a stage name because Darby Jones does have that stage name kind of vibe.
You can ask my mom. She'll tell you. Darby means free man, and then she was a part of like this kind of hippie commune out in California. I was born on Mount Shasta, this dormant volcano in northern Cali, and she liked the idea of her son being free. Um,
It's
you know,
nice.
my own man, and I was my middle name's Aaron, which means tall mountain for Mount Shasta, and yeah, she gave me my stage name. Thanks, mom. Worked out.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely has a charisma.
Thanks for that.
And also people, did you know that Darby Jones is also a published author? He has now his book. Was it only on Amazon? Where is it's where besides Amazon? Where do you have your book, Darby?
Everywhere. I got Ingram Spark to distribute it, and as far as I know, they've got it in every major bookstore all over the world. Like I know Amazon shipping is expensive, and some people have told me they've looked at like their local bookstore, and it's been more affordable. So yeah, just search for Fraternal Youth at your favorite
Fraternal
bookstore.
Youth.
Yeah, fraternal, like fraternal twins. I've got fraternal boy and girl twins, and
Oh,
that's probably you know 25-30% of my book is just stories of Daddy Jones and his goofy kids and pets and the adventures we go on, and a lot of script. I try and tell it exactly how it came out of our mouths. So after what happens, I'll go straight to my keyboard and write it down so I get it exactly. And I just like
mhm.
it. It kind of puts you right in the moment, and it's giving my kids a voice. They can read a book and be like, "That's me. That's my I'm in a book."
Your father.
And
That's so love. That's one of the great pleasures you can give to a child.
yeah,
For
just
me, at least.
teaching them to write. That we did that early on. Before they could write, I was writing their stories. I would ask them what they wanted to dream about before they went to bed, and they would just make up these goofy stories. And I mean, thousands of stories, but I kept just a few select, my favorites, and put them in this book. And and yeah, it got them telling stories and now they're both, really good writers and love to tell their stories. So, that's a big chunk of my book, and then the rest is just the weirdness, just being a father, just, life, the universe, and everything. Um, uh, but, yeah, I mean, you guys have seen my stuff, you know what it is. I mean, what you see on Substack is what you get in the book, but like 20 years of it.
Well, yeah, I think it's amazing that we also can have our archive in our Substack, but I feel like I'm still waiting on a signed copy, Darby.
It's in the works. I still got it in the works. It's on the way. It's on the way. I got you.
No, it's always better late than ever. Yeah. Also, like since you mentioned like Finn and Fiona, those like are they did they started writing? Do they like writing? Finn and Fiona are Darby's children, by the way. Are they writing now, or do they just like
Yeah.
because if that's the case, just say like the storyteller aspect, then it really does run through your family.
Yeah. They both took creative writing, and they're 17 now, so they're already
Oh
taking
my
classes
god,
and
are
everything.
they 17? Are
Yeah,
they 17?
yeah,
I
yeah,
why do I think like they're this tall and like almost around 7 years old? That's what I was thinking of now.
yeah.
Why do I
Everyone
think that?
thinks everyone thinks they're itty bitty because of the stories I put on Substack, but they're little people now. Fiona,
Oh
the all-star goalie. She took her high school to the state championship, and they lost 5-0. But she still got the name, the Iron Curtain. Like the announcers were like, "Fiona is the story of this game. She's 19 saves," and like it was just an onslaught. But she's
wow.
and she likes to write. She took a creative writing class in school last year. And Finn is a little songwriter. He writes songs and plays drums and
Songwriter,
keyboards
that's
and guitar. And so we all have a little family band. And when they were kids, it was called the Silly Gooses. And now we got to figure out a cooler name because they're way too cool for the Silly Gooses. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I love
We all play together and write and critique and um, it's my part of my plot to never grow up is play with my kids.
it. I love that grow up. I'm a never grow up type of person too. I even have a Peter Pan tattoo on my left up based on the same very ideology. That is very lovely though, you guys for you guys to have like family bands. I remember that.
Yeah, you know, got to pass
Yeah.
the torch. Got
Uh-huh.
to, we've talked about this, just creating a legacy, and that's what Substack's about. Writing down something that could last forever. Even if it's gone when you're gone, it's gonna still stay in the memories and lives and the people that your ideas influence for eternity. So yeah.
Yeah. I think I have that too. I think like forever since I was a little, my biggest ambition, maybe not even an ambition, but dream to just leave a legacy. Like I've said that in my last life too. I've always been afraid of that, not because in terms of like something physical, but because of like leaving nothing behind. But I just want to like have something of me here, so that just like something that I left on, like something that left here that I will be hurt by. So I really resonate with what you said.
Some of the comments says Darby Jones was also a man and an actor. Yeah, he was a prominent zombie actor. He was really good at a zombie. Um, yeah.
And then someone asked, "What could I get out of from
Oh,
investing in you?"
um, so actually, that'll probably be more my second book. First book was all fun and games, and my second book, because I've found a lot of my subscribers through my political writing on Substack. I've just gone down that route. And analyzing all my articles, people really enjoy the politics and the power and the money and so yeah, that's part two. I A major part of my life was studying Thomas Sowell's book, Basic Economics. It's just like a citizen's guide to understanding economics really simply, kind of high level, no 50-cent words and a bunch of charts, just like this is how money works. And if you understand money, you understand power. And it really just gave me an understanding of the world and how politics works. Is once you understand finance and economics at a very basic level, things just start to make sense, and you start to understand how policy decisions will affect different industries, and that's speculation. If you understand how policy is going to affect the world, you can bet on whatever industries are going to win or lose. And I don't bet on the losers. I try to just lift up companies that I believe in. I know shorting is betting on the losers. I don't like that because you're betting that somebody will fail, but it actually serves a really important purpose that saves a lot of lives. Because if people bet on the losers, I don't like to call them losers, but
It's so funny.
then that saves a lot of newbie investors from betting in those people and losing their shorts, losing their retirement funds. Like if you have people, speculators who can say, okay, these marketing plans don't look good, then the new investors can be like, okay, I'm not going to invest in that. I'm going to. So there's a really good reason for shorting and betting on the losers, but I just don't like to do it myself. Um, but studying basic economics is, I think, it's boring. I took economics, fell asleep in school. I fell asleep for my teacher because I just didn't understand why it was important. And then I had kids, and I was like, oh, I gotta have a stake in the game. I gotta like leave the world a better place. Well, how do you do that? I have to provide for them, and part of that is understanding money. And so I really encourage everybody just to understand how power works. Like it's just good for your own. It gives you power to understand how the world works. And anyways, and if you can also like turn that into your financial game as well. Um, so yeah. I you can read my stuff. I don't have any investment advice, but I do teach you about how money and power works and politics. Kind of the scheme behind it. And I don't hate anybody on either side or any walk of life. I really try and bring people together to understand the corruption on both sides, and really just come together to find a cause that we can all rally around and actually support. It's my thing.
And our audience says that's a good answer. I was actually making fun of myself for seeing Darby Jones and thinking as financial institution for investment funds. Seems that impression wasn't far off the mark.
Either a stage name or a stockbroker, one of the two.
So are you working on the second book then?
Yeah, I mean, just like a lot of my latest articles are going to be in the second book. It's just going to be another hodgepodge of my thoughts and meanderings. It'll take me a while to get there. It took me 20 years for my first book. I'm a curator at heart. It takes me a long time to really find something I think's valuable and worth putting out there. So it might take me 5 years. I don't know, but Substack's really ramping it up. It's
Yeah.
been a huge accelerator. So thankful for. Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, your name is a hit in our audience. Like people's strong name, people just keep going back to that name. Besides that, I do agree with Substack being an accelerator because even if um first I believe it serves as an external validation system because like when you are writing something like a book or like if you're submitting to a journal, it just takes months to get a reply. And like that just like for me if your brain is wired for stimulation just like me, those instant likes, comments, just sharing something that you write immediately with the world, that immediacy that Substack allows us really like enhance my writing and my frequency as well. Like I written like in this last year that I had my Substack maybe more than my entire life. Like, I always wrote, but I think like that sense of like kind of validating like your work, kind of having that dopamine boosts as well. Testing, experimenting. I also think Substack is great for experimenting.
Oh yeah, totally. It's even got like a little title A/B test. You can test different titles against each other.
I never tried that though. Have you tried?
I've tried. It probably isn't helpful unless you have a significant number of people. Otherwise, the statistical significance of the results won't be legit. But
You sort of have like a that kind of a number though now, no?
I might have that number now. I might have
Yeah.
some
Maybe it's time to run an ABC test.
yeah.
Title test or whatever.
But no, you tell by the likes and, you tell what people engage with and, that's gonna be a gauge for what I put in my book, I wanna give you guys what you guys like, so absolutely,
Mhm.
it's a great testing environment.
Mhm. I do agree, and, like, since we spoke of your book, like, your children take it and also I think it's amazing that Finn writes songs. Does he play them too? Does he play any instruments?
Oh, yeah, keys, drums, and guitar, started with keys, and
Wow.
actually his piano teacher, I didn't know this, but she's, like, 6th in the line of teachers that go all the way back to Beethoven, so Beethoven's teachers, 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 like, you go down the line, and his teacher has, like,
Really?
a lineage that shows the teachers going back to Beethoven, um, and then, but he's really
I was
excels good.
I was just gonna say I'm so impressed by this information. If it were me, I would just say if I was Finn, I was just like, I'm being taught by like Beethoven's teacher. Like, of course, no one would believe that, but I would just like, it sounds so cool.
She showed me the document, like, she's got documentation, and then, the other cool
Okay.
thing, and I would recommend this to everybody, so this isn't just, like, selfish. Um, you really can tap into the best of the best out there in the world. Now that we have now that COVID made us all comfortable with Zoom, like, you could literally reach out to a professor at, Berkeley School of Music in Boston, like, one of the most prestigious, and some of these people, will charge you a decent rate, and you can go out and find the best and meet with them for a half an hour, and just really fast forward your, your hobby and maybe career in music if it becomes something. And that's what I did with Finn. I found a professor at Berkeley and also NYU. He like had to move back to Amsterdam, and
Mhm.
he was really affordable. He taught my kid how to play the piano after he graduated from the other lady who was taught by Beethoven, quote unquote.
Beethoven. Yeah.
But I just really encourage you guys to scour the internet for these people because they're out there and some of them are very affordable. You don't have to learn piano from the little church lady, down the street. Although she's cool too, not knocking the little church lady down the street. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, but it differs. I had the worst piano teacher. I played the piano for 5 years when I was in, elementary school, and I started out with so much passion. I remember, like, running home to, my father and asking to start if I can start playing, and then my teacher was, like an old dude, like, old guy. He's from Azerbaijan, and then he was like he rarely smiled. I don't even think I saw him smiling. And at the time, I was like 7 years old. Of course, like piano, you learn through classical music, but there was just like they were all classical music, and it's just bored me. And I had these friends who would play like more amusing, like entertaining, and just like vibrant songs, and I would be jealous of them. But besides that, there were times I cried in that piano lessons. Like there's funny things I've done. There are two funny stories that I have about this. I
tell
was
me.
way too little, and and my reasoning wasn't well developed. So I kind of congratulate myself for like follow me, like building, constructing that kind of a relation between things. So it was in our hometown in Turkey, and we had the piano at like a larger room, and there was this table. All of the chairs of that table were regular chairs, and there were two of them who had what do you call those? Armrests?
Armrests.
Armrests. If there was one of those chairs and then that one was like far on the room, he wouldn't just pick up any regular chair. He would just go and pick up the one that has armrests, even if it was far. So I thought if I hit, if I like, what if I hide both of those chairs that I had armrests, and then maybe like then because he doesn't sit in normal chairs, and then maybe he can find somewhere to sit and leave. In the end, he picked out one of the other chairs. Sadly, that was still one of the biggest disappointments I carry in my heart.
That's funny.
Yeah, he
What's
just
that
made me hate it so much.
well, yeah, it's like,
It's
yeah, what are you gonna play piano for if you're not gonna enjoy it? Like, you're never gonna smile? Like, what's the point?
yes,
It's like find a
exactly.
teacher who smiles when they teach you, when they play. That's like my litmus test for a good piano teacher. They have to smile. Jeez.
That's a great way. Yeah, that's a good tactic, I think. And also, there was this one time. I think that's when I quit. Uh, like not intentionally, but I just really had my art there already. One time he came, I didn't know he was gonna come, and then I was expecting to not have any lessons. So I phone rang, I opened the door, and he was there, and I started crying to his face, and then he left.
Oh my gosh.
I may have even closed the door on his face, and then when I opened it again, he was gone. Oh my god, that was so rude. This is now I'm just realizing how rude that was.
Speaking of music, can we play a song? I'm gonna render you one.
Yes, let's have a song. Yeah, we would love to hear Mr. Darby Jones playing a song.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Watching streams of smoke as I take a long drag, driving up the road as the music coincides with the beat, with the laughter and the thoughts in my head. We're going to a place where time is dead. Oh, 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 oh. It's pure, it's near and far. Look around, hear a sound. Joy surrounds. My eyes dream, both open and closed. Live your dream and dream of life. Watching rays of sunlight hit the ocean so bright, swimming through the waves as our skin collides with the beat, with the laughter and the thoughts in our heads. We're going to a place where time is dead. Oh, 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 oh. It's pure, it's near and far. Look around, hear a sound. Joy surrounds. My eyes both open and close. Live your dream and dream of life.
We couldn't get um that was absolutely amazing. I was hypnotized by this performance. I bet everyone who was watching it loved it. You have like the exact rock star superstar vibe. I'm kind of starstruck right now.
Nah,
I'm quite a
you're my friend. You're not allowed to be starstruck.
Someone said reminds me a bit of my uncle Chris. He was a folk singer in New York, New Jersey back in the 80s.
Folk singer. I got a little folk in me. If I had an electric guitar, it'd be rock and roll, but it's got an acoustic right now, so we're gonna folk it up. We're gonna focus.
Evet, focus.
You're a part of my world, and I think you're lovely. You're a part of my world, and I think you're lovely. When you shoot, I gotta think of the second line. I'm just gonna keep saying that one because it's a good one.
It's a good one, catchy.
World, and I think you're lovely. Oh my god. It's been way too long since I sang that song. I would have to look that line up. Oh, it's called Turtlehead, and it's because when I was a little bitty baby, I had a hoodie that was entirely too big for me, which was perfect because if I had too much of the world, I could just like put the hoodie over and just like block them out, like kind of retreat back into my shell. So
Yeah.
everybody started calling me Turtlehead, and that was my first nickname. That was my first nickname, right out of the womb. The little
Did you
turtle
have,
head.
like, a favorite out of your nicknames?
What's that? Favorite? I
Did
don't
you have
know.
a favorite?
Scooby. Scooby.
Scooby?
I look more like Shaggy, but
Kinda, true, 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 true. Good
yeah,
observation.
but everybody calls me Scooby, and my dog, Piper, I would always call her Scooby, and she's gone now. But so yeah,
Oh.
in her name.
Joel says, less the music, more the guitar and creativity. Feels like sitting in on a jam. My uncle would bring his guitar when I was growing up and play in my mom's living room. The feeling is the reminder, not the technicals.
You're a part of my world, and I think you're lovely. But I miss your face when you hide away. You like to cut out the noise, the chronic cacophony. But when you cover your ears, you don't hear the symphony. Hear the symphony. So crawl out of your lonely hell. Yeah, you gotta look into what's outside your shell. We could be free, sail the seven seas, take a leap of faith. I know it's crazy, 'cause everything's fragile, guts and glory. But I'll protect you like the fairy tale stories, like the stories. So crawl out of your lonely hell. Yeah, you gotta look into what's outside your shell. So crawl out of your lonely hell. Yeah, you gotta look into what's outside your shell. You gotta look and see. You gotta look and see. You don't need a cover, baby, I'm gonna cover you. You don't need a lover, baby, I already love you. You don't have to hide, 'cause baby, I've already found you. I can hear you laughing inside, baby, I just wanna break through. So crawl out of your lonely head. Yeah, you gotta look into What's outside your shell? Go out of your lonely hell. Yeah, you gotta look into what's outside your shell. You gotta look and see. 'Cause it's beautiful outside. It's beautiful outside. It's beautiful outside. You silly turtle head.
That was amazing. Libra also said sounds too perfect.
Too perfect. Well, shoot, I gotta mess it up some. I don't wanna be too perfect.
So Darby, I was thinking, shall we play some more? Because you mentioned you had a cool story about this game.
Yeah, yeah, let's do it. Like,
So just to briefly introduce, this was the game me and Ryan played in my first live. It's a story game, but I think Darby can explain it better than I can because he also has a cool story about this.
yeah.
So
So, it's cool because yeah, before the interview thing, you asked me if I wanted to play this game, The Moth, and I told you that's like one of my favorite radio stations. My wife and I
yeah.
listen to it when we go to bed. They bring these just people from all over to a story slam, and they pick people out randomly from the audience, and they tell their story. And the ones that the better ones end up going on the show, and they do this all around the country. And apparently, they made this game, which I didn't even know about, but I'd actually performed on stage at one of the Moth live events in Asheville, North Carolina, and
That's
it
amazing.
was a packed room. It must have been like, I don't know, 300 people there, and maybe 30 people threw their name in a hat, and so I had like a 1 in 10 chance at getting picked, and I did. Um,
It's interesting when it
so
happens though.
yeah, yeah, and I actually told the very first story that I published on Substack called Victory Swagger, which was my pimp
Mhm.
walk at the end of the story, at the end of the story, which we'll get to. Um, so, backtrack, I guess, 14 years. I was, coming back from North Carolina to Nashville. It was Christmas, and, my family was at the airport, the Raleigh airport, and our planes were delayed. There was lots of holiday traffic. It was packed. We were all in this small deli, and we're all just packed in there, and, um everybody's upset because, we've been there for hours waiting on the, storms to pass or whatever. And finally, my kids had just had it. They started throwing a temper tantrum. My daughter Fiona starts bawling, and we're new parents and we're just failing. We're just like everybody in the deli is just like staring at us. Get like their stares basically look like bad words. They're just like, you know, laser. And so I've got to think quick. I fashioned like this little frog out of a paper clip, and she like, bounced it one time and it was gone, crying, bad stares. So I'm looking around and I've got to like my guy for my way out of this thing, and I see three shiny helium balloons, like light bulbs went off, and think of everybody. I ran across the corridor over to the gift shop where these balloons were, and I snatched them and brought them back, and immediately
You snatched them and then took them back.
yeah, yeah, kidding me.
Hard times require good measures. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was for the greater good, it was for the greater good.
For sure.
And
Yeah, for
so,
sure.
immediately, Fiona starts laughing, and she's running around the deli with these balloons, and they're bouncing all over, tables and things, and I had to get her out into the big corridor where she had some space to move around or she was gonna fall. So, now she's out in the corridor and she's just, like, flying like, a bat out of hell with these balloons, and they're bouncing off of people's faces, and it's funny, like, everybody in the deli that were giving her bad word stares are now smiling and laughing, and I'm back in the good graces of society, so that's all that mattered. And, Fiona's just whirling through these people, just zigzagging through the crowd. And I just, as a parent, the alarms are going off because a little 3-year-old child can't just run like crazy through a crowd of people without something going horribly wrong. And sure enough, she trips over somebody's luggage and falls
Oh,
hard. But
oh no. I
miraculously, she had been holding one of the balloons. And not only did the balloon uh, like
questioned her.
cushion her, but she like slid 3 or 4 feet on this really like smooth kind of tile floor and turned it into a game. So everybody
That is
freaked out. The whole whiskey bar next to the deli, like they were just having a good old time watching Fiona. Like they jumped up and like just like hey, like they're gasped. And the TSA's watching. They're like the security guards, and they're just like, you know what? We're just gonna let this slide. This uh, and so she turns it into a game, and now she's running harder and jumping higher and sliding farther, and it was just like entertaining as hell until
Yeah.
she jumped a little too high and the balloon popped. And she
Oh.
hit hard and slid to a stop, like, full spread out like Superman. And everybody in the airport's watching at this point. They're just like gasping, like, you know. She gets
I
up,
know that.
yeah, she gets up unscathed, thanks to the balloon. But the two other balloons that were, floating above her slipped away and floated up to the ceiling, to which Fiona starts bawling immediately, just like screaming bloody murder in my ear. And the show was over. That was it. I was taking Fiona back to her mom to get consoled. And I hear a voice behind me. It's this guy at the whiskey bar. Turn around and he's holding a chair. He's like, I bet you can get those balloons. And I'm like, oh Jesus, I know I can get the balloons, but I don't want to make a fool out of myself in front of hundreds of people.
Entire airport.
And if you know me, I don't turn down a good dare, but this was close enough. The guy was betting on me. He said, I bet you can get those balloons. And I was like, oh my God, here we go. I'm gonna make a fool of myself. So I take Fiona, put her down on mama's lap, mostly just to like kind of distract her from what I'm about to do. I go and get the chair and I leap off there to get these balloons. And I wasn't even close. I'm just like, I'm a white dude that can't jump. Like the dude was really disappointed. You can see his face. He was just like, it's like my height was false advertisement,
I
but
was gonna say that.
I can't jump. I can't jump. So,
I don't think I can either. Maybe it's a tall people thing.
yeah. But I was like this far away from the bottom of the ribbons to the balloon. And so I was like, I just need a little more height. So I'm looking around and I see this giant stone trash can, right? Like it's got rocks all around it. It's really heavy. I go over there and I tip it on its side just enough so the contents don't spill out, but enough to like sort of roll it on the bottom side. And so I'm rolling this giant, massive trash can through holiday traffic. People are zipping around me, giving me bad, bad word stares.
Bad, bad words there. I'm gonna use that in my writing.
Yeah. And it's like a game of Frogger, I don't know, it's an old video game where you had to hop through the traffic, and I'm rolling this thing through these people, and I get into the balloons, and I hop on, and by now I've gathered like a crowd. People are like, congregating around me to see me rescue these balloons, and I see my wife like with the biggest bad word stare, like, what the fuck are you doing?
I
And
was
it was
gonna
now
say
or never. It was now or never. I had to jump, so I jumped. It was like slow motion, like, and if we do the movie, we recreate this in the movie, we're gonna green screen the whole thing, and we're gonna have stars and planets and outer space in the background and a big fucking supernova, and I'm gonna be like floating, and my hair is straight up, and I'm gonna grab those strings and come down and roll to a stop. And that's exactly how it happened, pretty much exactly how I grabbed the strings and I came crashing down. Everybody exploded, the whole airport exploded. And Fiona jumped on me and was laughing, and I gave her the balloons, and then I snatched them from
Oh,
her, and I and I tied her little fuzzy red glove to the ribbons, and I threw the balloons back up to the ceiling, to which she, like, freaked out. She was like, why did you do that?" And the balloons are going up all the way up to the ceiling, and eventually they stop, and then they slowly start to come down. Daddy Darb, right, so I wouldn't have to, like, make a fool of myself
Wow.
anymore. And so now she could, and so she ran around and played and did the whole thing for another, like, half an hour, and she gave her brother Finn some turns and put on a big show, and then we had to go, and so we're walking onto our plane, and I had Fiona give the balloons to a little boy that had been watching us the whole time, and I could just tell that he really wanted his turn, and so she gave to the little boy there, and he blushed, and I about lost it. I about cried right there, and
That is so
and
cute.
I look over at my wife Melina. I was like, I bet he keeps that fuzzy red balloon or fuzzy red glove
I bet
as a memento
you.
to remember my little girl. And then so then we're flying back to Nashville, floating floating back to Nashville, and my wife turns to me and is like, you're pretty good at flying, but you gotta work on your landing. 'Cause I come down so hard that I sprained my foot, and when I got up, I was, like, limping, but I was kinda playing it off like a pimp walk. I was like, "Yeah, mm."
Yeah, 'cause
But
you were on the roll, right? Kinda.
she could tell I was hurt, but I was just playing it off like victory swagger. And,
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you're pretty good at flying there, but you gotta work on your landing." And I replied, "Well, we'll get Fiona to teach me."
Aw.
Yeah, that's it.
This was an amazing story, like, I'm, like, indecisive between having you or Fiona as my hero. She really got me at the start with the, like, turning that fall into a game. I think, like, for sure, like, this is the best story I've heard, like, for the past few months. I think maybe
Aw,
this year I haven't heard that many good stories this year. This was amazing.
yeah. I'll tell Fiona that. It's all her.
Aw, tell Fiona that he's my hero now.
Yeah, I will.
Maybe it
Gotta
will
get
be
you guys
better
some
if you
balloons
could.
together. You guys should, do
Yeah, but
balloon
like,
man balloon game together.
yeah, that would be fun. But when I say she was my hero, I thought like she was still 7, and my mind went back to that. So like it felt like saying some 17-year-old girl, like teenager, like this girl is that maybe anyway.
You're still a kid at heart. We all are. We play pickleball all the time, like, every day. That's our thing. We got a little net that rolls out
Really?
the street, and we play and get the neighbors to get on that. We're just big
I
kids.
really do want to spend like I wish I was a kid at the Jones family household for a day. You make me wish that. It sounds so fun. Like you guys jam as a family,
You
and
could
then
be a
there's
Jones
also
family kid. Come on over. We were gonna start a
uh-huh.
compound. We're gonna start a Jones family compound, and all my favorite Substackers are invited forever. So how about that?
That would be amazing. I would definitely fly to US for that if it's like an all invite that includes that kind of no yeah.
10-year 10-year plan. Seriously, it's on my roadmap. We're all gonna get together.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is very doable in 10 years.
Yeah.
How old are you gonna be in 10 years, Darby? I'm just curious.
52.
I'm sorry, like shouldn't ask kind of question. I was just thinking and I wanted to ask.
I'm actually I'm gonna reverse. I'm gonna go back in age. I just like because, I just have more experience being a kid. I'm just a better kid. I like
True. I think yeah.
Benjamin Button it.
That's great. It is. Also, I kind of think like I said it last week too. I think we are looking at age all wrong. I think you have the upper hand because you spend more time on Earth than me.
More time what?
Like you spend more time on Earth than me, so you have the upper hand. That's how I
No.
because like when people say, yeah, that's
I
how I
I
kind
I
of
really
look at
think,
it.
like, some people look at getting older as, like, burning out or whatever, and it's like your 20s, 30s, and 40s are the best years of your life, but I don't think it's like this U shape where, you hit your 20s and 30s and 40s and you peak.
No, not at
I think
all.
it's I think it's reversed. I honestly think, like, your 20s and 30s and 40s are like when you have to bust ass and it's grueling and you're just trying to make a living and
Exactly.
figure your life out. And once you figure your life out, like around 30, 35, it's all uphill from there. It's like you become yourself. Maybe you become your kid, the kid that you were when you were back up here. You just become more of that, less censored, more of who you were when you were a kid, and you just play, and you have maybe have the finances to play and travel and be with family, and so I think really people need to like flip the you know the frown upside down, I guess, and you know
Yeah.
approach it that way.
My 20s, I swear my 20s, like, wasn't even merely looking like this U curve where I like peak climax. My 19s were good, like compared to 20s were great. But 3 years in, when I'm in my 20s, it just like went right down. And and then I don't think like it's just like I've never reached the peak. I would know. I'm glad I didn't reach the peak yet. But I think there's a misconception about 20s. And I think for people who are at their 20 something age, this like 20s is your best time of your life makes another level of tension because it's actually not. Because in 20s, you're trying to figure out, that's my view. Like, I think a person's best age, like best age interval is that their 30s. Because 20s, you just try to figure out who you are. You try to become something. You try to get a job. All sorts of existential crisis. So I think like everything you do in your 20s is just to become who you are in your 30s and afterwards.
Yeah, but hopefully, like it does get better. I mean, you might be slower, you might have some aches and pains, but like you're really
I'm
just.
almost, I have 3 years with these ages.
I have to
I'm
say
just
I
kidding.
have to say, like, early 20s was a lot of fun, like, when I flunked, a bunch of my classes in school, just, like, having fun, I will not take that back, that I was horrible in grades, but, it's when I made some of my best friends and had the most fun, but the next
Yeah.
semester, I flipped it around, but, college is about sowing your oats and, you know
Yeah, I think it's like all different phases in life. My 20s, by the way, weren't like a shit of that. I mean, like they were good times. Of course, I had so much fun too. But it's just like overall, it's never like I don't like. It's just like how life is, right? It's like never linear. It's just like fluctuates. So it's just like yeah, I think it's not fair for someone for themselves to expect a certain time to be spectacular throughout, or just even just to be happy, to expect to be happy entirely. It's just not the way it works. And I like there's this saying, like quote that Nietzsche says that I like I'm maybe he said it with fancier words. I'm just gonna paraphrase what I'm left with in my mind. But he said, without suffering, we wouldn't know joy was or joy is. So that's like something that I think everyone should try to remind themselves when they're just there. I try to, not always easy, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I think people kinda turn to drugs is because they hit these rock bottoms and the drugs make them go from here
Yeah.
all the way up to here. But really, I think life is about, you know, getting to here and not having these, like, giant roller coaster rides. But that rush from going from here to here is just it's very powerful, it's very addictive, so, you know, but,
Always wanna stay there, right?
yeah, but, I read, this book, Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test, by Tom Wolfe. He's one of my favorite authors, and, he never did acid in the book, but, the way he captures it, he captures this community like he was right there in the middle of it. He spent months and months with them, traveling with them, and Ken Kesey, the author, he wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, like, probably my 2nd or 3rd favorite movie. Great book. Well,
Mhm.
he's the ringleader in this these clowns, these circus freaks, um, and that's kind of started the
What's
hippie
the
movement.
ringleader mean?
What's that?
What's the ringleader mean?
Ken
Because you
Kesey,
said ring.
oh, ringleader, like the circus ringleader. He was the head. He was like in the center of
Okay,
the
okay, okay.
circus, in the center of the circus
Uh-huh.
freak. And he was part of the MK Ultra project where the government basically, fed him psychedelics and as a result created hippies, thanks to Ken Kesey and his movement. But
Oh,
anyways, it's just it's
that's
all these crazy stories. It's a wild ride, but at the end of it, Ken Kesey's like, you know, drugs are just one um, doorway to potential enlightenment, and maybe not, because some people just get caught in the revolving door and they never actually go through the doorway. He said, like, you know, there's so many other more powerful things like religion and you know, uh, education, finding yourself. There's so many other doors that we need to access, and his whole thing was, you know, the acid and psychedelics were merely a doorway to get past that, to graduate from that, and to not need it really, to move on to other
Yeah.
things, other doorways, other pathways. And he at the end of it, he'd hope that his followers didn't have to rely on that, and that requires making a life and a legacy, something worth living for, such that you don't need those crutches and things. But
Mhm.
I just like that analogy of the doorway. You know, you can get caught in the doorway and never
Or
actually go
just
through it,
sexuality.
and that's addiction. You know, and so we gotta,
Also, yeah, also that remind like that's how people become mad, like,
yeah,
like the addiction. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So don't do drugs, kids. Don't do
Yes.
them at home. I don't recommend them. Unless you're like a shaman, you know, someone they it's really cool, you know, Joe Rogan made opened it up to the world and for people struggling with PTSD to get help with a therapist, someone who walks them through
Mhm.
these things.
Yeah.
You really do need a professional to talk you through your trauma and whatever pain, and to envelop your pain with love and the right, you know, expertise to walk you through your path and figure out, your parents and your parents' parents, and why are you who you are. Once you can understand why you are the way and the trauma that you feel and express, then at least it makes sense. And if those things are enveloped in love, and that's one thing that, you know, some of these psychedelics do, they wrap your memories in love where you couldn't even access them before, and now you're at least able to remember those things from an understanding, like, oh, my parents were pretty awful too, and that's maybe why they are, and that's why I'm the way I am, and things, and you connect those dots when you're in those that place, and you have a professional, a therapist walking you through them. So, you know, they're not for everybody, but you know, the studies are out, and there's, you know, tremendous amount of success. You know, people being able to work through a lot of trauma with those with that help.
That is true though. I've heard, I'm not sure if it's Canada or Australia. It's probably Australia. If I'm wrong, I'm not trying to lie to anyone. I'm just like, maybe it's just like something that I misremember. But one of the countries, those countries, I've heard that they legalize doing therapy sessions with MDMA, something that is like that. So that's just even being used at therapy setting. And I'm not sure with MDMA because it's not really psychedelic, but with mushrooms and other like psychedelic stuff, I think it has a real concrete impact on subconscious. Because I think like what you mentioned, like linking those stuff and etc. Those are about the subconscious or under like the right,
Yeah,
like the stuff that yeah.
it's really about like
Huh?
connections in the subconscious. You've been able to tap into memories that you can't think about because they're too painful. Tapping into memories you don't even remember
That's
can
quite
come up.
detailed.
It's really amazing, some of the research I've read on what they're doing. But honestly, I think you know, certain, you know, guided sessions will be good for everybody in the world. We all experience trauma. It's not, I mean, we all have PTSD from different things.
Mhm.
But you know, it's at least like this is the first domino, and once they get more research and data and healing, then who knows? But I do think God or some, you know, these things are here on earth for a reason, and you know,
Mhm.
they're not here. Uh,
And mushrooms are quite
oh,
natural.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's interesting. Think of like, yeah, I think so. And there was this documentary, I think it's on Netflix about mushrooms. I haven't watched it. Yeah, I'm that kind of a people who recommends something that she didn't watch, but people say it's nice. But I have a story actually, a good story about what you just said. I done like magic mushroom ceremony with a shaman, not guided, but there was someone who was sitting with me throughout. It was like 2022, 3 could be. like the worst year of my life. At the time, my health wasn't going great, and I hadn't yet been diagnosed with Parkinson's. So I was just like, being not being diagnosed just made everything worse. So I was in a state where I would just try everything, literally everything, like even the fact, like even something that's a stranger suggested me at Portobello Road, which that's how I found myself in that mushroom retreat. So I just like she just said it, and she said she thought it could help me because like I have always been a spiritual person. I believe that unprocessed and unspoken emotions, the emotions that are piled within, I think they stagnate. And I believe that stagnated emotions causes for like either worse issues, like impossibly in the end that could lead to that. My own belief again. I'm not saying this is true, but I believe that like emotions that are repressed makes them stagnate, and then that causes physical illness later. So I just followed this person, the stranger woman I met at Portobello, on to Northampton, Northern England, and I didn't know we were gonna do mushrooms. I swear didn't know what we were to do. So just like 3 minutes, and I was smoking so much at the time, cigarettes, regular cigarettes, because I was so stressed. I brought 3 packs of cigarettes with me for 3 days, as if I'm gonna smoke a pack still one day. And then they like didn't allow my cigarettes inside
Of
because
course.
shaman. The shaman says like the worst of it is just like the tobacco. So I just hide them inside the bushes, thinking that I will get them back once I'm leaving. So like it was, I think, the most interesting experience I've had because even like the moment I entered in, they gave me something to drink, and I drank it. I just asked what it is, and they said it was medicine, and I started to feel funny like half an hour later, and then someone asked, "So, Amy, did you ever do mushrooms?" I was like, "What did I just drink?" And I thought they gave me a cup of mushrooms. At the time, it was marijuana tea. That was marijuana tea, and I was so happy. I was going to spend 3 days in a house where they regularly served marijuana tea. Anyway, I was like, there were 3 nights that there was like different. I for 3 days, they gave me some different treatment, and the third one was the most interesting. So that's why I want to tell you because it's gonna kind of related to what you said. The mushroom that they gave that night, it had a specific name, but I just don't remember. It's exactly as they said, as according to what they said. It's what clears your subconscious, but it's also like it's important you to be present in that moment, like not sleeping. And I somehow slept a lot, but there was this moment where I just felt fully in that state, and you know how it was like it was like this movie film, not like my all of the memories, but like a film is just passing through me, and I double clicked one of them and then when I double clicked one of them, it just expanded and then entered to that. Like, I thought maybe, and I thought later that was like there was a reason why that one came up, and the memory that I found myself watching again, or I don't know, like remembering, was the one where I walked in on my parents in fifth grade or five. I was like very younger, maybe first grade, around that age. That came up. So that was interesting. I have my interpretation of it. I'm not just gonna share yet. I'm already an oversharer in my writing. I can hold it back off a bit in my life. But like that was really interesting.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that can be pretty traumatic, walking on your parents.
No, but like that was, and it's like for us, Sundays was our family day, and like my father had a rule, like no one can, like we are gonna spend, we always had to spend our Sundays together. It was a torture because the next day I walked in on them was Sunday, and I couldn't escape, and I'm just like feeling so embarrassed inside the room. How, yeah, that was rough. This clearly traumatized me because it stayed in my subconscious.
That's why you join Mayhem. Speaking of smoking, some of the studies have been on smokers, and when they take these powerful drugs, they're so in tune with their body. It's like some of them say they can feel the poison coursing through their veins, and that was just enough to like stop cold turkey.
Interesting.
Yeah, it really does give you like a sixth sense sometimes, and if you're already present and aware of your body, you really get in tune. And um, so yeah, did it help you with your smoking afterwards, or
No, I didn't go there for smoking. I went there because I couldn't walk.
uh,
So, like, I was like, "No, yeah," like, that was, like, that kind of an health issue, like, nothing like I wasn't, like, sitting on a wheelchair, but I was seriously having struggles with walking. Because like, I'm now perfectly fine because 'cause I'm using the medication, but I do have Parkinson's, and then at the time, without knowing uh, it was hard, like, difficult to walk. It's something very interesting because your brain knows how to do it. You know how to make make that movement happen, but it's just like it doesn't work. It was so interesting. At the time, I didn't find it interesting. At the time, I found it devastating. But I went with that. For a while, I was better physically, and then like it was just like, but not about the retreat itself. It was just like one of those times in my life I had to hit the rock bottom to just so desperately
mm,
seek the right treatment. And that's how I found it. And that's how I'm fully okay and like symptom free now.
I when I
I wouldn't.
when I hit rock bottom, it was actually a mushroom trip that helped me see that and stop lying to myself. Like I don't say I have any bad trips, but there was one where I had to realize just like the lies I was telling to myself. And it was the first time I was really just honest with myself, and I had to reach out to my parents and some friends to get some help.
Mhm.
And it's interesting. A drug is what got me to reach out to my parents to ask for help about drugs.
Yeah.
You know, and so you know,
Very interesting.
not advocating for them. I'm I'm the type of person that can
No.
handle them. I've got, like, the constitution. I've got, um, a good life such that if I was to take a mushroom, I would have a lot of fun. I wouldn't have to deal with, these traumatic things that a lot of people have to have a therapist for. Um, one of one of the last times I came out, um, just feeling like my computer restarted and my thoughts were just juggling. I was able to connect even after like the next day. I was able to connect and juggle all these thoughts and make all these connections. And I was writing so much faster than I'd ever done before because it's like a defrag on the computer. It kind of sorts, your memories
Yeah.
out, puts them into where they need to go, and you think through. Well, on the trip, you think through so many fascinating things, memories that it's just like a library of things that you could write about the next day. Um, so
Do they stay with you long enough that you could write about them though?
what's that?
Like, when sometimes when you experience like that, like sometimes it's harder to put those kind of things into writing. Like, do you think so? Or it's just like
Oh,
stays there.
it stays for a couple days, at least it does for me. Some people don't remember the night before, and it's just a blur. But for me, it's like a dream. You have to kind of tell it like soon after, and the sooner the better. And
Yeah.
the next day, I was just like, couldn't stop. Um, but hey, I'm on a live thing. Yeah.
Darby, there is this book by Aldous Huxley. I think you would love it. It's called Doors of Perception or Perception Doors. He
Heard of it.
tries, I don't know. Yeah, you would love it. It's like exactly on this topic that we spoke of. He tries, Aldous Huxley himself tries something that I know, but I just forgot both of its Turkish and English name right now. But you'll love that book. And everyone who's watching, if you are interested in these things, you'll enjoy that book.
I'll check it out. I actually have a couple
And
Huxley quotes, like, on the chats, on some of my chats, I put quotes.
yeah,
I've got a couple of Aldous Huxley. I haven't read the book, but I've researched him a little bit to
it's
know that I love
interesting.
what he says. But,
Yeah.
apparently, Daddy Jones is being called to
Yeah.
rescue
Paddy
somebody.
Jones, difficult. Yeah, that's fine. I was just gonna say we are already like 20 minutes over the hour. If it's like if your request like required in urgency, of we can wrap it up. But if not, maybe we can have a tiny bit of a little like Daddy Jones rap performance before we leave, like a small
Um,
song, tiny bits.
nope, can't do it this
Can
time.
we?
Next time. Next
No,
time.
no. Okay, okay, okay. Great. Okay.
I
Thank you everyone for
appreciate
joining us. Thank
appreciate
you
the
for
invitation,
joining
though.
us, Barb.
Thank you all for staying
Yeah,
a
you appreciate
long time. I love you guys, and check out Fraternal Youth on Amazon. Fraternal, fraternal, like fraternal twins, Fraternal Youth. And and check out Headlines of Hope. If you're having a bad day, I promise you,
I
it'll turn
just wrote
things
it in
around.
the chat for me.
What? Oh, you put it in the chat? Oh, great. Thank you. And yeah,
May have declined my music jam offer, but I just wrote and then just kidding. Yeah.
thank you
So
guys.
please, aw. I hope you had a good time. I hope everyone had a good time. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Daddy Jones, and thank you for the all 90 of you for joining us, staying. We hope you enjoyed our chat, and we should have Darby again because we didn't actually play the game, so there will be a time where we will
I told a
play the
story.
game.
It was fun.
Yeah, you told so, and it was like absolutely the best one. So have a great weekend, everyone, and thank you again, Darby, for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Bye, everyone.